Hey guys, my name is Lizzie Lee, and if you don't follow me on my other social media accounts at Lizzie Lee Med on Instagram, TikTok, go ahead and give me a follow there. I just wanted to make this video to give you a little update about what's going on with me. Since my last video, I've actually been interviewing for residency positions, and because of the coronavirus pandemic, everything's been virtual. I've done a fair share of interviews, so I can confidently make this video right now. I know interview trail is actually slowing down. But this video is for anybody that's virtually interviewing for a job, in the hospital, just for anything. So I am going to break this video down. I'm going to tell you the most common questions that have been asked. And since I know a lot of people don't have anybody to practice with, go ahead and practice with me with this video. It's going to be set up. I'm going to ask you the question. I'll pause it. You go ahead and give me your answer. Then I will tell you how I would have approached the question. And if you want to, go ahead and rewind back to when I asked you the question and go ahead and practice again with your answer. So just make sure you practice enough so you get those interview answers down pat so you can rock your interview, okay? So to start off, I want to give you some simple tips that you will need to rock your interview. And first off, I want to say be memorable. These people are interviewing hundreds, thousands, however many applicants for that job position you want, that residency spot you need, and you just want to stand out. So for me, if you've noticed my sign, it says, please pick me. This is a very ballsy move, or so I've been told by a lot of peers and as well as faculty that I've interviewed with, but so far they've all loved it. Something like this makes me become memorable. It's kind of like, oh my God, please pick me. So they always laugh about it, and it's definitely a conversation starter. As well as my art right here. I've gotten a lot of compliments on my art, and sometimes I don't have this sign up. I'll have other artwork up, like the spinal cord or this brain. So it's just different, something different, unique that can define you. One program that I interviewed at, the program director looked at my art and she was like amazed. She had me email her the link to it. So that was definitely a way to open the floor. The next point I want to say is try not to be nervous. When you're nervous, you can't be yourself, your authentic self, and that's a major thing that I would recommend is try to be as comfortable as possible. I know it's a little awkward because they're interviewing you and you're nervous, but just remember that you're also interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you, right? You want to make sure that this is a good place for you to be at for the next so-and-so years. You want to make sure that their values line up with your values as well. You want to make sure you're in a good spot. So my main tip is to make it conversational. Try to kind of just simmer down the nerves and just be like, hey, I'm trying to get to know you, you're trying to get to know me. Let's just mutually be chill. Let's be professional, of course, but try to just take away those nerves so you're not stumbling, so you're not stammering, and they can smell it. They can smell the fear. So try to be a little fearless when it comes to interviews for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the questions section. These are the 5 most common questions that I've been asked in some variation on my interview trail. Let me go ahead and start with question number 1. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? All right, so the way that I would approach this question is kind of a systematic format in a timeline. So you're going to tell them a little bit about your past, a little about your present, and what you want in the future. So how I would approach this question is, hi, my name is so-and-so. I went to this school. I got this degree. I worked this. I am currently doing this during the pandemic, or I'm currently doing this right now. And in the future, I see myself becoming a doctor that does this. So when you're setting it up this way, they can see that you have a clear kind of path that you are thinking about. Because the tell me about yourself is very vague. You can literally tell them about your favorite movies, you can tell them about this, this, and this, but when you tell them in a timeline like that, it seems like you're way more organized. It seems like you have goals and aspirations and you're working towards those goals. Question number 2, why this program or why this job? All right, the way I would approach this question is I would ask myself these 3 things. Can you live there? Is the area good, right? Are the residents or staff happy there? And 3, is the program supportive of your goals? So I would answer this question in a way where I would say, the staff seem really happy there, the area is great, the location is great, as well as I saw on your website the mission statement was so and so, and that really resonated with me. I would also look at their website and see things that I can research about them. So if I'm interviewing for this hospital, I see that they have a research facility. I can say, oh, I'm really interested in research, so I saw that your facility has it. Or if it's just a job offer and you're just looking at their website and seeing something that you like and you can relate to, that is definitely something that they think is super key, because for one, you did the extra research, you went the extra mile to kind of look them up, and you gave them a clear-cut answer. You know, you're not just saying, oh, because I need a job, that's why I'm going there. You're giving them something about them that you like and that you can see yourself there. So that's important for them. All right, so for question number 3 and 4, it's going to be a 2-part. What are your strengths and your weaknesses? The way I would approach this question is my strengths are the ones that are on paper, at least, are in my resume, right? That's my academic strengths, that's my volunteer work, that's why they probably gave me this interview in the first place. So when I think about strengths, I always bring up compassion. I think as human beings in medicine or in any job, compassion is so important. And we always need to deal with each other in a way where we are human. We're not robots. So I always bring up compassion as my strength. And I also bring up a story or example, because if I just say, hey, I'm super compassionate, you're gonna be like, okay, can you elaborate more? So I always bring up a story about how I was dealing with the patient. They definitely benefited because I was compassionate, and how it differed from a level of care that I've seen or something like that along those lines. So for strengths, I would always pull something that's not in your resume, something that they have already read and they've already seen. I would definitely bring an example on about it as well. As for weaknesses, the dreaded weakness question. Everybody is like, I have no weaknesses, just hire me. But for my example, as my weakness, it would be because I am a first-generation American, Asian American. For Asians, our parents have always taught us to kind of be, you know, obedient and just listen to the rules, don't cause trouble. And that's great, But when it comes down to advocating for a patient or making sure things go right and not just because we're listening to somebody else, that's my weakness. My weakness is I have to step up and speak out for my patients whenever they need me as their physician. So that would be my weakness, and that's something I need to work on, and something that I acknowledge and I will work towards. So for your weaknesses, always identify something that you feel like you can improve on and tell them that you acknowledge it and you're working towards bettering yourself in that aspect. Question number 5, why should we hire or accept you? For this question, I would approach it in a way where, like I said, they know everything on my resume already. I would talk to them about other personality traits about me that would make me a good hire or a good applicant, right? So I'm gonna talk about my compassion, I'm gonna talk about my personality, I'm gonna talk about my people skills, I'm gonna talk about my relatability. I would be a great hire or great applicant for your program because I'm a people person, I love people, I genuinely care. I am a trailblazer. I would love to better your program in a way, or anything that I see, I would love to help out. I am a team player, anything like that that doesn't really reflect on your CV or resume, that you can bring out personality traits about yourself in that aspect. These last tips are specifically for virtually interviewing, and I don't know how long virtually interviewing is going to go on for with this current pandemic, but hopefully with all the vaccinations coming out, it will be soon that we can interview in person. But these are just the tips that I would recommend for virtually interviewing. Number one, I would say get an Ethernet cable. If you're not familiar, it's one of these things here. This will connect straight to the internet power source. So even when your internet or Wi-Fi is a little wonky, this will help you have stable connection. So I actually started interviewing from my laptop first, which doesn't have a Ethernet port on it because it's one of those like MacBooks that is mini cute ones. So I actually borrow my fiance's laptop every time I interview because it has one of these. His is a Mac too, but it has an adapter port. So for the Ethernet cable, and it works so well. The level of connection is so much better because I remember just interviewing the first time, I was cutting in and out, like it was staticky and it was just really bad, and now smooth sailing. And you want that, right? Because virtually interviewing, yes, we're gonna deal with the connection problems, but you don't want to be the one having the problem. If they have the problem, that's okay, but don't let it be you. All right, tip number 2 for virtual interview, I would definitely recommend getting one of these. This is a laptop stand. So the reason why I would recommend getting one of these is normally when we're looking at our laptop, we're looking down like this. So then you create that double chin and you create that awkward kind of positioning. Once you have one of these, you can prop your laptop on it and get that eye level, direct eye contact type of thing. And it's great. Actually, this is just better for you in general. If you work on the computer a lot and you don't have one, I recommend getting one. I'll link it down below so you can go find this exact one if you want. I think it was like $27 on Amazon, but seriously, lifesaver. It's helped my back, a lot of back problems as well. Tip number 3 for virtual interviewing, you need this and this, a pen and paper. So when they're telling you these important things, go ahead and just jot them down, especially if you're interviewing for multiple residency positions or multiple jobs. You want to make sure that you have everything nice and neat, so when it's time to decide which one you're going to pick as your number 1 choice or which job you actually really like, you have all that information on one kind of notebook, kind of spreadsheet. And also a good tip for this pen and paper is, like I said earlier, look at their website, look up their company, see what you like, see what you don't like, look at their mission statement. Does it meet your values and goals in life? Write that down. And then when you're interviewing with them, you can have this open. It's fine to just kind of glance over, and if they're asking you why this program, you can look over and be like, oh, because your mission statement says this, this, and this, and that's definitely something that I agree with, blah, 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 right? So make sure you have this. It's very, very, very important. And lastly, I would say lighting is everything, framing is everything. I mentioned before the paintings, the artwork in the background. Yes, it's perfectly fine to have a blank background, but I just think these are great conversation starters to kind of break that ice. And lighting, get a ring light if you can. Ring lights are not that expensive nowadays. Everybody's into social media. Everybody's trying to get the perfect picture. So ring lights are not that pricey. I have a huge one right now that I'm using. I think it was around $80 on Amazon. I can definitely link that. I also have a mini one that's about this small where you can just prop it on your desk and just make sure you have really good lighting. You don't want to be super, super dark and they can't see you and it's not professional. Just make sure that the lighting's good, the environment looks good, everything is prim to your success. So that's all for my video today. Like I said, go ahead and follow me on my other social media accounts at Lizzie Lee Med. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment them down below. I always, try to answer everybody's questions, and pray for me. Match is coming soon. Hopefully I'll match, and be able to share more about that experience with you guys. And if you use these tips and you get a job offer, go ahead and comment down below too. I want to hear it. I want to hear the success. Let me know if you have any more tips that you can give, and then hopefully I can share it later on. And overall, thanks for watching.